So
Okay.
I've got 6:30. We've got a quorum, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. Thank you for being here for the Finance Committee meeting of April 15th, tax day. First order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, a moment of silence for those who have given their lives in service to the community and for those who have lost their lives due to COVID. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Don't see anybody on the line, but is there anybody here for a public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on. Looking for a motion to accept the minutes of Thursday, March 25th.
I have so motion.
And I'll second it.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Not for me.
Hearing none, I'll take a vote. Darlene?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Patrick?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys.
Hello,
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
All right. All right. We have no appointments and hearings. Is there anybody from the Board of Selectmen? Not seeing anybody, hearing anybody. Yeah, we can hear you. All right. Anybody from the school board? Not hearing or seeing anybody. We'll move on. No old business. New business. All right. No presentation from the town manager. So that brings us to update on the Finance Committee report. So that has been going through several proofs. These last round of edits were just sent to the printer today. So hopefully there were only two minor things that I can't believe I didn't pick up on many number of times I've read through the proofs. But those should be the last of it, and we'll get that back, and then it'll be ready for them to print. So
it's still on schedule?
Yes.
Okay.
They had the last deadline was like noon today, and we got that taken care of. And so long as there's nothing else wrong, and there shouldn't be, we should be all set to print on schedule.
I did have a question. The version of the warrant that's on the town's website is an earlier version before we had voted on all of our recommendations.
Right, and it always is.
Well, I'm questioning why that's the case, because when you read Article 6, for example, it says that we'll make our recommendation at town meeting. Because that's not the case.
Right, but they've got it. It's always published right after their Monday meeting, before our final look at it and chance to do anything.
So my question is, why cannot the version that's on the website align with the version that's going to be distributed by print?
Because the warrant is actually just the articles themselves. Our information and votes and everything are not actually part of the warrant. The warrant itself is the articles and the Board of Selectmen's explanations and votes.
Well, our votes are there for all of the other articles.
My understanding is just that's because that's the way they've got it at the time.
All right. Well, that's just, I mean, we could informally look into that. I just don't see any logical reason why there should be an outdated version on the website, particularly where with all the promotion that's going on around the wastewater issue, people are being directed there to read the article. And the fact of the matter is that we have unanimously recommended the article, but you wouldn't know that from going to the town's website.
And they will be notified of that when they get our report.
I'm kind of a stickler on timely, accurate information in all venues, but nonetheless.
Well, it comes down to the fact that what's posted is the Board of Selectmen's warrant. And our information being on there is a courtesy.
Well, even courtesy should be accurate. That's my only point. We can move on.
All right. Anything else regarding the Finance Committee report?
Not here.
Nope.
All right. So the main item for discussion is we've got to come up with an RFP, a request for proposal for the annual audit. Now we've gotten information and two examples from of what other towns have done to give us some guidance. So I'm just gonna open it up to start with. Are there any comments about what you saw in the other towns' RFPs, or how to proceed, or anything like that?
Just to refresh our memory, so we agreed to extend the agreement for the current auditor to include the FY21 financials.
Yes, I believe that's
okay.
Yeah, we extended it for 1 year because they're working on the 2020 audit. They just did that, so the next one would be the 2021. And we authorized them to extend that for that one to give us more time to come up with a good request for proposal.
So my question is, by when should we be prepared to act on any responses to an RFP, roughly? If there is a new auditor, they would be working on the FY21.
They'd be working on the FY 2022 audit.
I thought you said we just extended the current one through FY20.
No. Through 21. We extended it for the 2021 because that's the next one coming up. Yes.
All right. So the new auditor would deal with the fiscal year ending June of 22.
The first, and depending on how we do it,
start that until after the end of the fiscal year.
Correct.
So we'd probably want to know who we're going to recommend or pick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, beginning of the year sort of thing.
Probably by then at the least.
Yeah. Okay.
And the more time we've got to authorize to review, the better.
Yeah.
And normally their contracts are for 2 to 3 years, so they'll be for 22, 23, and then probably 24.
Yeah, I thought normally 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I understood them to say.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a while for a new auditor to get all the information from the town and town to get comfortable with the new auditor too. So they need a lot of lead time, quite a bit of lead time.
Yep.
Well, I was just generally speaking, I thought Dawn's numbered bullets on the cover on her memo to Rodney were right on, and there may be some others. The Mendon RFP looked more like a posting for an RFP rather than the actual document.
Right.
And I was pretty impressed with the comprehensive scope of the one from Harwich. And I've seen a lot of RFPs, but I don't pretend to have the technical knowledge to create one. But this one is a stake in the ground. Look pretty complete to me.
I agree. That was definitely the impression, and my intention was for us to at least use that one as a template for whatever we come up with.
Sounds good to me.
I guess what I think is the right thing to do is not reinvent the wheel, because we've had good audit reports, in the past with a firm that we're comfortable using, and I think most times we change only to make sure that we don't get too comfortable with the auditors that we have. So it's not as though we're changing because we feel the present auditor has failed or has not done a good job. So it should not be that complicated or difficult to do the RFP. It should be, if we had to, like you said, John, I think that was fairly good report or good suggestion. So I think we take as much as we can to use in that.
Yeah.
Just my suggestion.
Not that it matters, but I wouldn't be surprised if the current auditor responded to the RFP as well.
Oh, I would think they would.
Yeah, and then they would be in the mix on that.
It's not hard for them to do it. They've done it for 3 years. It's easy for them to say, we want to do it again.
Right. So to that point, there'd probably be some cost savings in year one because of familiarity. But if we're going to evaluate the RFP responses equitably and objectively, I guess we'd have to resist the temptation to assume too much about comfort zone with the current auditor. When we
I think
we get to that,
we should take a position that we're changing auditors because it's a good business practice to do so. I mean, other than quality, it's just good business practice to have not get too familiar with them. I think they would understand that too.
So are you saying, Mike, then that we should presume that we're going to engage a new firm?
I would personally, yeah.
You would presume that?
Yeah.
You would not?
I would.
Oh, okay. You would. Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
I think it's good business. I think it's only the right thing to do. Unless we come up with someone who can't meet the standards that we're used to, or someone who doubles the charge or something along that line, it makes it almost untenable to move. I think it's the right thing to do is to go someplace else. That's just my thought.
I think it's a very good thought.
You're a banker,
Yeah.
Eileen.
I'm a banker. I think it's absolutely the right thing to do.
Yeah, I lean that way too. I mean, as far as I know, there are no stated issues or deficiencies or dissatisfaction with the current auditor, but that's not a carte blanche endorsement for their future either, right?
Yeah, I've talked to Dawn. I don't think she's seen or suggested that there's anything untoward with what's happening with the present auditor.
Yeah.
But I think she also agrees that it's good business practice to look elsewhere if, how long have we had this auditor? It's been more than 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's more like 6 or 7 years, isn't it?
Is that right? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. You've been on the.
I think it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah, you
I
and.
believe it's the same firm we've used for. Kathy, do you know? It's the same firm we've used for a long time.
So this is the first time we've
Yes,
considered
Kathy,
it.
you're muted.
We didn't hear you, Kathy.
No, you're still muted.
There you go.
Yes, there we go. Sorry, different mouse. Yes, I can't say how long the town has been with this auditing firm, but as Dawn had mentioned, people from the previous firm started a new business that several people from the same team, I believe, have been on board for,
Yeah. Okay.
I would say, more than 7 years.
Yeah.
So that's a good range.
So in other words, there's been no RFP at issue during that time until now.
I don't believe we've just set an RFP out for many, many years.
Yeah, okay. All the more reason then. Well, on the technicalities of crafting an RFP, I mean, we could probably get this Harwich one in a Word document and go through and change Harwich to Mashpee and make any other changes. But I would think we would need some expertise from Dawn or the town manager or even town council on you know, the points on the content of what we're going to recommend.
Right. You know, my plan was that we'd at least come up with the initial draft, run it by the town manager and accounting and legal to see what we need to include that we haven't.
Yeah.
And whatever statistical or data numbers we've got in there are correct. But for at least for the general beginning of it, we can do that and then pass it along for their review and editing, basically.
Yeah. That sounds good to me.
We're not going to get any of that time until after the town meeting for sure.
Right.
They're so busy.
Right.
Yeah. No, well, I wasn't looking to get this done probably until after the town meeting, but to at least start the work on it.
Right.
What I was hoping for was one or two volunteers to take on coming up with the first draft using that template.
I'll be happy to work on it with someone. I mean, I'm not a financial person, but
I'll work on it with you, Mike. I'll work on it with you. I'm not a financial person either. I was the other part of the banking, but.
All right.
Well, we have a good solid lawyer on board, so.
Oh, we could do that. There you go.
I'm not a finance guy, but you know, the thing is, you know, when we spoke to them earlier, there was some points that they made, which I thought were interesting, that probably should be in any RFP. One thing that was important was when they call, they're not charged for every phone call. And that can really change the original contract amount depending upon how much communication needs to be there, especially if it's a new firm. You know, this is the classic, you know, buying a car but getting the add-ons later on, or buying a house and getting the add-ons. To at least put those in the RFPs or knowing what we have with that. So, you know, taking what are the good points that you liked about the service you have been getting for the past few years to incorporate those in the cost savings at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And some of that was anticipated in these 13 bullets that Dawn sent us.
Yep. You know, I did not get that from Dawn. That's what I was looking for. I got one.
Well, she had sent it to Rod. She had prepared this, looking at the memo here, for Rodney back in January.
Right.
And then Rodney just forwarded it to us fairly recently, a few weeks ago.
All right, I've got to find that again. I apologize, but
I've got a copy.
There was a file that was sent that was called Audit RFP Information.
okay.
That was the first page of it. Then was the Menden RFP, and then the Warwick RFP. It was all in one document.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I got, you know.
She wasn't sure if you read it, Patrick, if you're going to charge us every 6 minutes for your reading.
Oh, no, don't start with me. You. All right. Well, I'll find it here. If not, I'll get them to resend it.
What is the popular increment now, Patrick? Is it a 1/10 of an hour or a 20th of an hour?
6 minutes.
6. Okay. Just checking.
No.
I can remember when it was 15. Imagine that.
I'm slowing. Well, that's one of my big problems. I don't bill enough, but that doesn't matter. I'm cutting back even more. So
There you go.
yeah, changes in my life very quickly coming on here.
You might even become a golfer someday.
That'll never happen. No,
I'm happy to work on it with somebody. I mean, I can't, you know, obviously whatever we do comes back to the board for their review.
Let me.
Yeah, so we'll get that started. I'm working to convert that into a Word document right now.
Okay.
And then I'll send it to you and Darlene. Then you could begin working on it. Right now, I don't expect us to be taking a look at it until after the town meeting.
Right.
And we've got a meeting in May after that. So we'll my anticipation is that we take it up then.
Okay.
All right. So that's a good month and a half or so. So to get this,
I'll bring the
I'll take a look at this and see what I can do for you too. All right. I just I've got to find it. I had that the one bulletproof one there, but not the other one. So I've got to find where it went.
Oh, I can send you the document again, Pat.
Would you? Okay, Jeff, that'll be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, send it to me too. I think I have it, but I'm not.
All right, I'll send the original document to everybody.
Great. Yeah, that way I can print them and I'll help you out, Mike, whatever I can. Let me look at them first.
So to make it easy, I will send both the Word document and the original PDF to everybody.
Okay, I apologize for that.
Yeah,
that's why
not a problem.
The one there.
Not a problem.
Too many email addresses and too many emails.
Right.
Having 3 email addresses now, it's okay.
So thank you for Mike and Darlene for stepping up to do this, and Pat, you're offering to help. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we'll be getting a good start on this, and it was put on the back burner as we started looking into it, and then all the town meeting stuff came up. So it's time to get back to what we should be doing.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have on the agenda. Is there anything else anybody has?
I'd like a volunteer from the finance committee that's willing. Looking at you, Jeff. I don't know if you can tell I'm looking at you or not. We started that program with MTV.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think it's a good one. Probably the next, it's not, first of all, it doesn't take much time. In the next couple of weeks, to have a session on the finance committee.
Mm-hmm.
I've done wastewater with Andrew. I did 3 sessions with Gottlieb.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to John Miller and Greg McKelvey a couple of days ago about we're going to do a definition session with Don, and it'll be like things that I ask all of you now if you think about it. We're not in a collaborative fashion, but because we're meeting now, so I can ask, I guess. What are some of the things that we do, finance committee, or the selectmen does, or the finance group does, that goes into documents and or language that the residents hear at the meeting? or read in the paper for the meeting that you might, as a individual, think might be not totally understood. The one I always go back to, which I think is easy, is what does free cash mean?
Yeah.
And there are others. And John Miller sent me a couple, and Greg had a couple. But if you think about them, Don and I are going to do a session, maybe two. They're only 5 minutes long. Give it.
You just froze, Mike. Okay.
You did.
Yeah.
Mike, you froze.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. I don't know where I froze. But I'm just trying to get this done. She's more than willing to do it. And we've got 8 or 9 phrases, cherry sheet, available funds, something that people just, what does that mean to the person who's voting?
That's a great idea, Mike.
Yeah.
So,
that really is.
So we're going to do it next week. Don and I are going to do at least one session. And I told her that today, maybe 2, because you don't want to go too long. But if you think of things that you as a individual or people you talk to saying, I'm sure you hear them. John Miller, you probably, where you are, you're all over the place. People telling you, what the hell does that mean? Maybe we can clarify and make it easier for people to vote. I mean, that's a thought.
It's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
That's all I got.
All right.
Well, I think even just going through the town warrant, you see those terms in there. What do they mean? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a couple
I always
things.
thought a warrant was what happened to me when I was in college.
It's
A warrant for my arrest.
They're still hunting you?
The statute
statute of limitations.
There you go. I had a couple things here. I don't know if you'd heard, but the Cape and Islands Trust Board yesterday agreed to 25% wastewater project subsidies to 8 towns on the Cape, including Mashpee.
Right.
And according to Andrew, that means that we get, this is not the revolving fund, this is an actual subsidy. So Mashpee, he says, is getting 13 million instead of what we had planned of 5 million. So that's really good news. And the other thing is, so at the Selectmen's meeting Monday night, they had a brief discussion and voted unanimously to pursue changing the name of the Board of Selectmen to the Select Board, as many other towns have been doing. And they mentioned, I guess the town manager is going to be pursuing that, but it would require a modification of the town charter, probably some bylaws and voter approval. The scheduled review of the charter, if I'm not mistaken, is 2013. It's every 10 years. But I guess there's a provision in there that if there are other issues that you can't or shouldn't wait that long for, you can take them up through some process. So I only mention it because if there are any, and the boards, the selectmen suggested that if there are any other timely changes that would be appropriate to the charter having nothing to do with the name of the Board of Selectmen, it might be good to bundle them all together and deal with them at once. So I'm mentioning it only because if there are any provisions or issues in the current charter that are no longer appropriate in our collective opinion as they affect the Finance Committee, it might be a good time to identify them.
So will they be creating a charter review committee like we did last time?
I don't know what the process is, and I think that's one thing the town manager has to look into.
So what do you think the annual stipend should be for each individual Finance Committee member?
Well,
I can, if that's the big issue, I think they've got it all wrong. There's too many other issues to worry about if they call it a select board, a board of selectmen.
Well, I think that's one reason.
Nonsense. It's nonsense. I'm not ever going to be woke.
I think that's a good reason to consider other issues in the charter that might be more substantive and timely to tackle now rather than at the 10-year anniversary.
Well, that's surely not one of them, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we can save an awful lot of finger typing if we just called ourselves the FinCom.
You're right.
Yeah, I don't know how important it is either to change the whole charter, but
I mean, you know, we have wastewater, that's important. We've got all these other issues and we're worrying about what we call a board of selectmen. You know, it's mankind. It's not we have to stop this nonsense. Let's get common sense and fix the problems out there, not these illusionary problems.
Respectfully, I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
Well, as soon as you say there's 10 sections out there, then I've got a problem, okay?
Well, you be careful. You start calling it a select board, we may have to change some of those people. Anyways, I'm done being a wise ass.
I wouldn't waste my time on it. I'll vote no.
So I think the only, this is not provided in the charter, but you know, we still haven't heard back from Ed or the moderator on the process to fill vacancies on the finance committee. And maybe we won't, but that for one might be a potential candidate for charter review. Because I think some of the other charter provisions do spell out some of those procedural type things. Just a thought.
I was on the last charter review committee. It takes quite a bit of time.
No, boy, I know.
It takes a lot of energy to go through it. And it would have been, if it's not my choice, of course, but I would have enlisted a few people to start thinking of review the charter and come up with ideas, and instead of going into change the charter just because you want to change one name. But hey, I'm on the select finance board, not on the selectmen board.
Well, you know, the selectmen, they may change their mind when they find out, you know, what the hurdles are to make a change to the charter if that's what required. But
yeah,
I'm just reporting what happened on Monday.
Spend their time on something productive that's for the good of the town. But my 2 cents.
Anything else?
Nothing from me.
All right. Then the next scheduled meeting of the Finance Committee is May 3rd, 6 p.m. before the town meeting. It will be a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen to go over the warrant with them.
We outdoors for that?
Probably.
Yeah.
Rain or shine.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it until I get there.
Yeah.
Do we have any meetings scheduled after that one, Jeff?
We've got one more scheduled at the moment in May. I believe it's a couple of weeks later. And like I said, we'll look at the first draft, but it's also an opportunity to reorganize the finance committee.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's when it should be happening instead of when we haven't always done it that way in the past.
Right.
As everybody's term officially ends after who's up for who doesn't decide to continue, their official term would end on after in that May period.
Yeah. Well, the election's May 8th, so the Thursday, maybe it was the 20th.
I think so. I think it's around that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Let me see if I've got that.
Yeah, I couldn't locate it quickly, but it seemed to me we did schedule.
Yes.
Something around there.
Hold on here. No, I have.
Hey, Darlene.
Yeah.
Mary Jane's been looking at pictures of cavapoos.
Yellow cavapoo.
Cavapoo, whatever she said.
Cavapoos. Well, with any luck, come October, I'll show her a real one.
Oh my God. Don't do that to me. I'm not going to do this right now.
You brought. I could show her a real one now with my next door with Cadge.
Yeah, I know. I know.
No, that's not what I wanted to do.
We don't need to nail it down now, but
okay.
The book.
Yeah, I can meeting schedule. There we are. Yeah, it's not allowing me to open it at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Right.
we had scheduled out through May, so
right.
I can look it up and let everybody know what it is.
That's fine. Plenty of time.
Yep. All right, but right now, May 3rd, 6 p.m. at the high school. All right, that's our next meeting.
Now this
All
is
right.
the year. It said this is 2021, so we all have to wear pink.
Say that again.
No mind. I'm just being a wise ass.
Well, that's not unusual. I guess
I
just missed the point there, I think.
The last year it said you had to wear blue, but we didn't.
Oh, okay. I get it.
All right. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Kathy. We'll see you all at
Thank
town
you.
meeting.
All right, see you then.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.